Heidi ho, everyone, and welcome aboard. This is Jeff coming to you live from Tasmania in Australia, where it's getting a little bit chilly, I've got to say, to slip the fire. And I'll be joined very shortly by Ash, who, of course, will be coming to you from Brighton in the UK. I have to tell you, of course, this is our last show for a couple of weeks as we have our mid-year break. And we'll be back on the 8th, Monday, the 8th of August. So a couple of weeks away. And that'll give us a chance to recharge our batteries and get into the second half of the year with a vengeance. Is it wet, Gary, where you are? I can't believe that. It hasn't been wet up there for ages. It's not too wet where I am. No, it's been lovely weather, actually. The days have been fantastic. No wind, and about, I'm probably climbed up to about 11 or 12 degrees today, I would imagine. Great stuff. Keeps you nice and fresh. Righto, let's get into it, shall we? For the, as I say, last show for about a fortnight. First up, let's go and have a look at the pound and see what it's doing today as I try and reclaim that part of the screen. There it is. Okay. Oh, that looks interesting. There's a potential false break of not only the trade line, but the daily pivot. Oh, get back up there. That would get back up there in the next couple of minutes. I'd be very tempted to trade it, but it's the first candle of London, so I probably won't. In fact, I won't. Righto. With the pound, we're trying to get a handle on the breakout of the high and low of this session. Well, the London session open, if you like. There's the open of Asia, Tokyo open right there. And we isolate the range that we've been in since. And then we draw a halfway line. So what we're trying to do is trade the breakout of either long or short, depending on which way it goes, obviously. And how we do that is we look to enter the market short if we are above the midway point when London opens, or long if we're below the midway point when London opens. And with just about a minute to go, this is going to be very, very close to on that mark. If it is, pardon me, if it is, I won't be entering a position. In fact, we're not going to have time probably to do that anyway, because we are so close to it. But I'd really like to see that get up there. That's a classic candle pattern that I do like. And it's across the daily pivot. Looks like, to me, if price gets to here, it's going to here. And that's, of course, what we're trying to achieve. So we would enter the market there. If that were to be the case, we take our first profit there simply by moving our stop to entry. Our stop loss would be here if we do go short, which is the top of the range. You could add a couple of pips to that if you like to counter the spreads. And if, of course, price was below here, we would do it in the opposite direction. So we'd be going long at the center line. First take profit there, stop loss there. I'm just going to hang in here for a second until this does change, but I don't think I'm going to have time to trade this. I may, if price scoots up here. We shall see. The entry, of course, will be at 1.1983. I might as well get ready just in case. And it will be a sell. By the way, this is not a proven strategy, folks, so a very, very minimal amount of money on this. I'm only 0.05 of 1%. That's it. Nothing more than that until we get it proven. 1.1983 is the entry. It looks like we might get an entry. Okay. Stop loss will be a couple of pips above there. 1.2006 will do. 1.2006. And we'll get rid of the take profit pips. We'll go TP1 at 1962, so 1.1962. is our first take profit, at which time we won't take anything off the table, but we will move our stops to entry and hope we get some follow through. Is my chart frozen or what's going on? We should have a candle change. Let me see. Sell. Okay. Candles are frozen. How bizarre. Everything else seems okay. Don't know what's going on there. Let me check another chart. Aussie dollar. Not moving. I've got frozen charts. Everyone else the same? Anyone on Fusion that may be experiencing the same thing? I'm on Fusion Australia and I've got nothing, which is kind of weird and very difficult to trade, I've got to say, under those circumstances. Anyway, I do have another order in the market. It is Australian dollar versus the US dollar. And I'm going long above yesterday's little doji bar, if you like, or spinning top, which is sitting there on that lovely confluence area. That's the reason I like the position here. It is a little bit of a pullback to this resistance trade line. I know that trade line is not actually pertinent to this chart, but it is to the 4 hour, and it's the same result. So it is also potential for this to be a false break of the support level. So we're going long above that little pullback bar. And if you want to follow that one, the entry is at 0.6933. And my stop loss is at 0.6873. And I'm taking half of the position off at that level there, a little bit lower than that actually. 6983, 1.6983, 0.6983, sorry. That'll be TP1. I'm taking half off at that point, and I'll move my stop loss, what is it, 50 pips from entry, which is not a great deal of difference. Okay, I still don't have any charts here, which is extremely frustrating. I am assuming you guys can hear me, and it's not my entire system that's frozen, just the charts. Aha, the little bing in the background. Here we go, my charts are coming back. Okay, we've been triggered, there we go. We have been triggered short into this, and we'll see how that pans out. Right, nothing more to do at the moment until we hit this base level here, which is TP1. See how we go. All right, so pound is off and running, this time to the short side. Now, let me recap since last we spoke. A couple of things have happened. I was in pound Aussie long and had been for 2 or 3 weeks, I think, without a TP1, missed TP1 by 4 pips, I think, from memory. And then we've just been up, down, up, down, up, down, and nothing happening all throughout that period until Tuesday when we got hammered out of that. What we did do when price was just doing nothing in here was reduce our risk on that. So we took half of the position off the table, which means that we lost 0.25% on this, and so be it. Am I interested in getting back into it? Yes, I am. And my reasoning is, and I said this from the outset, to my mind, that looks very similar to the sentiment cycle. Now, those of you who don't know what the sentiment cycle is, you can look that up on Google and have a look at that. It's a very simple process. And I was looking for an aversion point, which was potentially this area here. But now this is potentially the aversion point in my mind. Whether it is or not is another story. I haven't traded that long yet. I think I might get a better shot with price coming back above this trade line and then retesting it. If that's the case, then happy days. A bit of a mess here at the moment as far as price is concerned, has gone into a consolidation pattern, and really anything can happen from here. If these lows are taken out, of course, everything changes. But at this point, that could still be the launch pad for pound Aussie. Can't give you a fundamental reason why that would be the case, I've got to say. But there it is. Charts telling me it's still possible. So we'll continue to monitor that one. The Aussie, I've given you that order if you wanted to follow that one. If you're just coming into the room now, and I see there are a few people coming late and you wanted to follow it, then I'm long Aussie versus the dollar at 0.6933. Of course, that's yet to trigger. And I've got a stop loss of 60 pips on that. So 0.6873 is the stop loss. And my first take profit is at 0.6983, at which time I'll remove half of the position and move my stop loss 50 pips from entry, therefore making it a free trade. The other one I'm in is pound yen. Now, pound yen, when I get into that, can't remember. Maybe Tuesday, maybe Monday. Can't remember. Anyway, you guys may or may not be in it or aware of it. If you are, then I have my stops at entry at the moment. Reason, well, I haven't taken first profits up here somewhere from memory, and I just don't like price, what it's doing. I think this is the market more than anything. I think the market is sitting on the fence and really doesn't know what it wants to do. In particular, the pound and the yen. It's kind of a risk on, risk off scenario, really. And whilst ever the market's in a risk on mood, which it appears to be at the moment, and has been maybe for a couple of days, but it's, you know, it's hardly vibrant. They're really not jumping out of their skin to get into this market. Well, from what I can glean anyway. Yes, there are risk on currencies appreciating and the dollar coming off a bit, as we may have anticipated, but I don't see any strength. Oh, there we go. The pound's just hit TP1. Should it have done that? Why has it done that? Because I didn't get rid of the 6 pips. What a dipstick. There's TP1 there. Oh, well, my error, guys. If it goes through there, happy days. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But by sheer coincidence, well, sheer lack of attention, I've now hit TP1. What was I talking about? Pound yen? Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just not in love with the market at the moment. I think it's flip-flopping and we're sitting on the fence. The market doesn't really know what to do. Perhaps there's something coming up that I haven't looked at Forex Factory since Monday, so I forget what's going on. I think the ECB might be today. That shouldn't affect this too much, but risk on, risk off, don't know. Wax on, wax off. It's kind of all over the shop as far as I'm concerned. I think that's all. Dollar CAD, keep your eye on that one. That was one of our trades of the week. Dollar Swiss was actually the trade of the week, and I haven't got into that, and I haven't got into this either. There was a temptation to trade this bar here short on Tuesday. Yeah, when I woke up on Tuesday, I saw that. I thought, maybe, but we're not really back into the range, so I'll just let it go. And now we've had a little bit of a pullback on that entry. I'd like to see more, I must admit. I don't like any of these candles to trade except that one. Turned up at the wrong time of the day for me, obviously, but I've let that go as well. I hope I don't miss this. It's possible, of course. And dollar Swissy, which is or was the trade of the week, has now given me something that I can get my teeth into, and that is a double cross of the monthly pivot and the weekly pivot. So I am going to place an order on that short. Haven't done so yet. Maybe I should do that whilst I've got your attention. Go, Batman.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right.
I should have said, how you doing, Robin? That would have been a nice, nice addition. Yeah, going all right, mate.
Should I place this order, or have you got something?
There might be something just to very, very quickly talk about on the FTSE.
All right. Well, this is a long way from entry, so go your hardest.
Okay, I mean, yeah, because you're absolutely right that, you know, the market is just a bit undecided, and initially,
yeah, I think so.
I thought we were going to get a long on the table, but now I think the market may give us a short, but we're going to have a look. You can see here we're right on top of this is the FTSE. We're right on top of the daily and the monthly pivot, and it might well be a short. We're going to have a look at it. I mean, it's just a bit benign right now. And with the ECB sort of due out, I wonder whether we're going to get an extended rally. So kind of like looking into this area, I wonder whether we're just kind of trapped between 2 points here. So there might be a short. I've got to be honest, the long was the preference, but I was looking at this level down here as the market opened up. So I don't know. There might be something that we can do here. So I have already got a short on this market that's quite a bit below down here, but I might add to it. But it's a little bit tricky at the minute. I've got to be honest, mate. It's a tiny bit tricky. It looks right. It looks right, but I'm not even sure whether it's going to get to our levels. And this will be a bit of a problem because we've got to get 10 to 20 pips out of this, and it still qualifies now. So this zone is okay, but I'd like to see at least. Oh, I can see why that's there now. But yeah, maybe sort of push back to these highs one more time, and then we'll have a look at a short in the market. But otherwise, it's just a little bit too close to take profit area. But we're in a little range, and as you say, I think it's quite poignant really that we are in this kind of choppy situation. We do have the ECB out later, and they could say something which is really going to spook this market quite easily. Actually, you know what? This might well be worth it. We get just back to this point here. I'll take this one on, I think. This is going to be good enough. So I have sold that off. I'll just show you the order. I'll just There you go. So there's a sell. There's a sell here, and I'm literally just going to aim for the bottom here. The only reason I would let it run. No, I'm going to aim for the bottom, and I'm going to aim for the bottom because of that ECB meeting. So the trade is a short, mate. Anybody looking to use a stop loss just above the trend line's about right. Aiming down here, which will give around about a 1.5 to 1 if it works out. As I tend to do. First contact is going to be my area, so down around about there looks about right for a little profit taking. So short at 72.20 and with a profit of 71.95. Take profit at 71.95. That on UK 100, which the guys are trading, will be. Where we at? 71. Oh gosh. So it's be 72.75. So 72.75 looks like the short area. 72.77 is the short area with the 72.50 for the take profit.
Happy days. What was I going to ask you? Can't remember now. I was just going to mention again that this is our last show for a fortnight. Holiday
yes,
time.
It is, mate. Yeah, it is. Last show for a little while, so be quite nice to have the break. I think everybody be sort of quite thankful of it too, but maybe. I think we need it. I think it's we work pretty hard throughout the year, so I think it's deserved.
Good week to have it too. I think with this market the way it is, I just couldn't get into the market this week at all. Every day I woke up and looked at the charts and going, don't really like anything there.
Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. It's a tricky, and it has been tricky. After you finish, we'll talk about the dollar and sort of see what the prospects are for that. But I think when the issue really for us as technicians is that things have become so overextended that there's a turn that's coming. You don't know if the turn's here, of course, but there's going to be a turn coming because things just don't survive in extended parabolic rallies as they have been doing. So that's the kind of challenge for us, isn't it? It's just to try and get hold of something, just to try and actually sort of make some money on a little bit of a counter move. But those counter moves just haven't come. So it's possible that we need to close out the month before we actually kind of we get anything significant.
Maybe I thought gold and silver on Tuesday. Maybe they look like good. They look like good trades, and because not yet trading them yet. Well, I'm trying. I'm looking more than I'm trading. They did look good, and they've proven
gosh,
so
yeah.
far.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yes, gold continues to tank to the downside. Silver's now joining it, and I think that's some of the problem. I think silver's actually pretty good, but unless gold sort of picks itself up, then silver's in trouble. You know, it can't really do anything. Yeah, tricky, really, tricky to sort of actually get hold of either gold or silver. We need some downside in the dollar, and I guess that's some of the problem, is that we've had such ferocious buying for the dollar that the other assets just haven't been able to do anything. But this week we did start to see that easing back a little bit. But it's rallied again. You know, we'll look at it later. I'll manage this trade up, and then we'll look at it later on. But and we'll look at gold and silver and see what the prospects are. But they look pretty bleak at the minute.
Well, as I said, and I'll show you those charts actually whilst I'm on about it.
Let's have a look.
Becoming a student of these pairs, this pair.
Yeah, well, let's have a look. Well, yeah, your thoughts on it. I'll be definitely interested to take. I'll let you know if this trade eventually reaches take profit. It looks pretty good at the minute.
Well, I thought gold and silver lined up perfectly for continued shorts. A little bit tricky to get into silver-wise, but gold looks just so easy at the moment because if you look what it's been doing, weekly pivot, bang,
yeah,
weekly pivot. That was a bit tricky, that one. Weekly pivot here, weekly pivot there, weekly pivot there, weekly pivot there, weekly pivot. Nice reversal bar sitting right there on gold. So yeah, not too hard. There's my line in the sand right now for gold is 1678. So I would expect buying to come in there.
Yeah.
Little ways to go.
Which we're right on top of, right?
Getting close, very close, about $20 away. Yep. And silver is there now.
Silver's at the silver's at the buy point. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, a lot more difficult to trade silver short. Had you traded that one, you might have got a bit of a kick in the bum, as you can with silver. I reckon silver's a lot harder to trade than gold. But anyway, doing similar things off the weekly pivot, and now it's in a position that really you would expect some buying to come in, or I would.
Yes, you would. And yesterday's bar, if you look at the shape of yesterday's bar, if that gets taken out to the upside, that's going to look pretty positive. But it's got some work to do. It's got some work to do, mate. It's
the lower it goes, the better, obviously.
Yeah, Lewis, you're right. 1680. I've got on the futures, I've got gold at 1686. They might well have touched the 1680 level as well.
What do I say? 1678 I've got in it. But
yeah.
We're in the ballpark. Who's going to argue about a couple of bucks?
Yeah, well, absolutely right. And Ainsley always said that gold really respects levels. So you would expect it to have some kind of relief rally here. But where does it go is the big question, isn't it?
Well, it looks like 17, maybe 1800s to go in the first instance here somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'd probably be a seller again at that point for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I guess that the big question really for gold is why. You know, why do we get the rally that we're expecting? Because the recession seems to be causing a huge issue for gold, in as much that there's just a fire sale. You know, everybody's just like going, just get rid of anything, get rid of anything you've got your hands on. But now we're starting to see the rally, and particularly the Nasdaq. People aren't rebuying gold, and is that because of the strength of the US dollar? And are we expecting further strength of the US dollar? So there's big questions, big question marks about precious metals. Really, not that they provided a bit of protection to the downside, but as that downside subsided, they haven't been bought back up again. So no good for the inflation hedge.
Well,
yeah, there may be a dead cat bounce. I think you're right, Lewis.
Everything's changing. You know, it's no longer, in my humble opinion, a market where you can rely on safe haven plays.
No.
And this is certainly playing out to be one of those. But as I continue to say, if we break this level, gold's in awful trouble.
It is. It is.
Because-
M topping pattern. Yeah,
Absolutely.
the M topping pattern. And if that M topping pattern works out, then yes, you're absolutely right, mate. It's a deep, deep move to the downside. I've got around about another $200 down minimum. So maybe up 1,500.
Yeah,
before
that's
you're buying
first stop's
Yeah.
there. And then
Yeah.
the next stop's, down to 1,200, 1,250 or whatever it is, that level. But,
Yeah.
like I keep saying, I still can't unsee this. This double top's still there. And if this breaks, that confirms it because that's the neckline.
Yeah. It would be interesting to see one of George's measured moves on that one to see how low down it would potentially go. And if you're an Elliott Waves kind of guy, it looks to me like this is wave 2. Would it be? Sorry, we're in wave 2 at the minute.
We're in wave 2, yeah. Well,
with no retracement so far, though.
My version of the measured move takes us to 1,250 or thereabouts.
1,250. Wow. Yeah.
12 odd. Yeah. High 12s. So yeah, don't rule it out.
No, I think you're right, mate. I don't think you can rule it out. This one looks in a bit of trouble. And as yet, no relief.
Where did I get up to? Can't remember.
You were about to put an order on, I think.
Was I? Yeah. That would have been CAD Swiss, maybe.
Could have been. Nothing on the euro?
Dollar CAD. It was the dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss, there it is. Okay, so you've got to take into consideration that I am at, when I'm not at risk, I'm not in the trade, but this will probably coincide with that, the Aussie going long against the dollar. So I've got to keep that in my head and not get too much risk on the table here. But I'm happy to put half a percent on this one, no problem. And we will go short at 96.70. Actually, I might as well place it whilst I'm here, right? Half a percent is tons. And it'll be a market entry at whatever I said, 96.70. Make it 96.69 actually, because I like odd numbers. I like my odd, you know that.
Yeah, you like a nice bit of odd stuff.
97.39 will do. That'll give us 70 pips. 9739, and get rid of that. TP1, we're going to have to trade through that low, sadly. 70 gets us in here somewhere. Let's go with 96.33. $0.9633 will be TP1. I'll only remove a third at that point and move my stop loss, and I'll leave my stop loss where it is, which was 70 pips, wasn't it? Okay, TP2 will micromanage, and it's a sell order. Gary, to answer your question, no, there will be no replacement this time. Nobody's put their hand up to step into our shoes, so we will be having a clear break of 2 weeks. So back on the 8th of the 8th. There you go. Mary at the Cottage Gate. Dollar Swissy. So there's our short. I'll repeat the order. 0.9669 is the entry. TP1 is at 0.9633. And the stop loss is at 0.9739. And it is a short on dollar Swissy. We'll talk about the dollar in a minute, as Ash said. Now, plays of the week. What did I have as a play of the week? Dollar Swissy, something else, didn't I? Kiwi CAD. Kiwi CAD. Let me have a look at that. Kiwi CAD. There we go. Let me get rid of all this garbage. That.
Jenny's just asking, do you think gold will really go down to the extent of the mirroring as what Jeff predicted 2 weeks ago? It could, but you know what?
I'm guessing,
I would,
you know.
Yeah, I mean, we are speculating on it, but I tell you what, Jenny, my first speculative call on gold would be a bounce, and probably a half decent bounce as well. I think Jeff's area that he picked off on the weekly chart is about as good as it gets. I don't know if it's going to get much higher than that particular point. So I'd be the same. I'd be going for what looks like it could be a dead cat bounce. At this stage, things can change. Obviously, we're going to need to see what caused it. If it's purely a technical bounce and nothing fundamental, then gold is probably going to go lower again. But if there is some kind of fundamental driver, which is difficult to decipher because it seemed like it was there, when we were looking at the CPI data continuing to come out hot and gold being an inflation hedge, then you'd expect gold to have rallied. But if you look at CPI data and when inflation really starts to set in, and I've only really discovered this in the last few weeks, gold will tend to rally off the back of that around about 6 months to a year later. So you could be holding positions for a long, long time before we actually get some genuine reversal. But you'd have to say, I mean, this isn't just a neckline. This is where the ceiling has become a floor before where we are now. So we are on the floor, and you would have to anticipate a bounce at this particular point. Holding though, I don't know. What's that trend line there, mate? Is that too shallow actually? The trend line? No, going down. Go left again.
This one?
Left to go to the lows.
Low?
Left at the lows, yeah.
Low.
Yeah, that one
Here?
there. What's that? Where does that take us? So that might be bounce point. It might not even get to that. I don't know if that coincides with your original price, mate, but that might be as good as it gets.
What did I say? I said 1,800. So yeah, $20 away from it. So.
But then if it bounced now, it would actually be more shallow than that, wouldn't it? If it was to bounce and come up in the next month and stop, it would be actually lower than that by looks like the low end of those.
Yeah, you could be in here somewhere.
Yeah, exactly there. Yeah, what price is
that? But that looks interesting as well.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, X marks the spot, and that was good. That would be what, 2-3 months away. What month is that?
And that's 1785. So you're getting close to 1,800. That will be end of September.
End of September, so a couple of months. Yeah, so that would actually coincide relatively well, wouldn't it? I mean, you'd have to kind of get a decent either next month as a reversal and then September as being a bit of a rally, which could happen. We might dip below this level first and actually create some kind of hold, but just very difficult, as I say, to know what's going to drive it. We know the central banks have been buying gold aggressively, but it's caused no confidence to actually see it going higher. I think it goes to the 1780, 1800 level, Jenny, personally, before it starts to really go down, if that's the next phase. But it's just a matter of when, and if you are holding a position, you've just got to be able to absorb it and make sure that you're not over leveraged.
Yeah,
but it is a bit of a killer.
As I said, I'm guessing. I've got no idea.
Yeah. Well, we always are, mate. I mean, look at the hourly. If you look at the hourly now, we're of course 30 minutes away from the hourly. Oh, profit taken by the looks of things. Are we talking about profit on the FTSE? Yeah, profits hit on the FTSE. So we've
good on you, mate. Well done.
Got a nice winner to close the shows up. Yeah, look at that hourly. Now that hourly obviously has got another half an hour to go, but looks like a pretty strong bar forming right now. So other investors and traders are seeing that 1680 level as an important level by the looks of this. So is this the low? Could be. It could be. You just don't know, do you?
Could be. No. As I say, I'm guessing. But what I do know is that we're at that level, and if it breaks, look out. If it doesn't, then there's going to be a rally. That's all I can tell you. Can't tell you any more than that. Okay, back to where were we? We finished with dollar swishing? I think so. I was talking about Kiwi CAD, right? Kiwi CAD was a weekly game changer to the high side. That's right. Just this week. Inverted descending triangle. Where did I get that from? I think I'm going nuts, mate. Oh no, there it is. Okay. So that's interesting. I've never traded this before, and I wanted to get your opinion on it. Actually, I didn't mention it on Monday. Let me get a pen here. I don't know if this is a recognized chart pattern or not. It's not one of mine, I can tell you that. There. Won't give me my pen. Why is that? That's annoying. Oh, there it is. Up there.
Lewis, you're looking for a setup for long on what, mate? On gold? Oh, okay.
So we've got that going on, right?
Kiwi CAD on the daily.
That's Kiwi CAD on the daily. And like all structures, my reading of this is, actually I should draw it in properly. That's a bit better. But to me, that's a clear inverted descending triangle, if I can put it that way, if there's such a thing. But it's a structure, that's all I'm saying. And when we've got a structure, we've got an opportunity to trade that structure, or I have anyway. That's my thing. So what I wait for is a breakout of the structure. So that, trade it that way, or a false break of the structure, which is what we've got, and trade it that way. So I think this is a sell. Dollar CAD, Kiwi CAD. And that was what I was looking for from Monday. Let me see if this is tradable.
It's interesting, mate. I mean, it's interesting that that's the pattern you see. I mean, I see the.
You see an inverted head and shoulders, right?
Well, the inverted head and shoulders, and also like it's almost like a descending channel as well.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Which we're in the middle of, pretty much, and that would suggest a bit lower.
So when I look at the 4-hour chart, I don't really see an entry. It's messy. I've got to say it's messy. So it's doing what I anticipate a structure will do. In other words, it's broken. And it's giving me a false break at the moment, but this is a real mess. I don't know.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Have you looked at the monthly?
No, I haven't. Hang on a second.
Have a look at the monthly. Very interesting on the monthly. If you go back to 2015, August, the August lows in 2015, and go right.
Hang on, I'll get a chart.
Yeah, Lewis. Lewis is saying gold long into the August seasonalities. I really like the idea on that. It's been so disappointing. You could be quite. I think you could be forgiven of giving up with gold, but I agree with you on that, Lewis. I think gold is due a rally, isn't it? And we're at the lows. We are in a seasonal bias to the long side. So the obliteration is hugely unexpected. But let's see if it can actually do anything.
What do you want me to see here?
2015, the lows in 2015, August.
Yep.
Yeah, extrapolate right. Yeah. Down to the lows.
Oh, down that way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, got you.
Now that looks interesting, doesn't it? I mean, depending on what this bar is this month, that would be a reason to start investigating a potential reversal.
Okay, I've decided that it's not as interesting as I thought it was. Though.
Well, I mean, you could still see that level, couldn't it? Again,
there is a nice little tweezer bottom sitting there, so yeah, I'm okay with that.
It's a tricky. Do you know what? I find that the Kiwi CAD's going to be a difficult one because they're both central banks are being quite aggressive right now. But the Canadian economy is probably in a better position. That their kind of exposure to oil has really helped things out. Trade balances are good, unemployment data is good, hiring is decent still. Central banks on the move and surprising to the upside, and they went a whole 1% last time out. And they seem to be one of the more aggressive of the central banks. So but then you're up against a Kiwi that also has quite an aggressive central bank. So and considering where we are on the chart, it's difficult to pick a reversal, to be fair. But yeah, I mean the low side might be short term. I suppose it depends on your time frame, doesn't it?
It does indeed. Aussie Kiwi. I wanted to go there as well. Speaking of the Kiwi, what do you think about the Kiwi, by the way? And Tajul, thank you for letting me know that. Sorry, I've only just looked at the YouTube chat, and thank you for letting me know that. It did come good eventually. Sorry, mate.
The Kiwi, I think it is overextending itself. I think that the central bank are overextending themselves a bit. I don't think the numbers, some of the PMIs aren't particularly hot. Trade balance is not great. The consumer sentiment isn't particularly good. Buildings over there isn't doing particularly well. So not super keen. I've got to be honest, mate. So I mean, this is Kiwi CAD short makes much more sense fundamentally. Than a Kiwi CAD long. And also we're kind of heading into a position now where the Kiwi seasonally is about to kind of get into quite a weak position, along with the Aussie, to be fair, but the Kiwi doesn't tend to do that well. Then you kind of add on the fact that they've gone first and they've gone aggressively. So you would expect them to be one of the first to slow as well. Are we at the stage now? What interest rates at 2.5%? They've got to be getting close to wanting to see some sort of results and for the fruits of their labor. So I've got to be honest, man, I don't love it longer term.
Okay, that's sad because I've got this going on, see. And that always gets my attention.
Yeah.
Because that'll be 1, 2, looking for number 3 over here somewhere. If I get that and it doesn't take out these highs, I want to short Aussie Kiwi, but you haven't filled me with confidence.
Well, the Aussie is, the correlations are quite close because of the seasonality again with Australia is not great. So I don't think it would be the worst one to go with. I'm just going to check some of the sort of fundamental data on the Aussie. Yeah, again, consumer sentiment's not brilliant. They've got a little bit of a differential as well with the interest rates. Economically, Australia looks like it's in a bit of a better position than the Kiwi.
Although you've got the Labor government now spending money like it's going out of fashion, as they do. That's their thing, right?
Yeah,
that's what Labor governments do.
Yes.
And are we in a position to be spending money at the moment? Is any country in a position to be spending money at the moment?
Well, do you know, mate? I think that's a really interesting point. I don't know if you saw. When it's Forex Factory released some public sector net borrowing numbers at 22.1 billion for the UK, and the previous was 11 billion. So we're looking at almost double public sector net borrowing. So while we're seeing the numbers that we've kind of got filtering through globally, actually weakening, but not anywhere near as bad as people think they should be doing. Look at the borrowing. I mean, what does that say? That says people are basically, they're propping up the economy, not because of earnings, not because they're in a particularly strong position. That little snapshot might well be telling us there's big dangers kind of coming. Interest rates go too high, that net borrowing is going to be it's going to cause a lot of problems, and I think you can see that kind of globally as well. I mean, certainly the United States borrowing numbers have been pretty high. So
is it now 80 trillion? Is that what I heard?
Of what, mate? Of borrowing?
That's their balance sheet. Yeah.
That's the balance. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not talking about the central bank. I'm talking about sort of household numbers. Okay. Yeah. Credit card loans and bank loans and stuff. And I guess what I'm saying is that while we're not really seeing a recessionary kind of a huge recessionary concerns, because GDP from the United Kingdom last time out was nowhere near as bad as expected. PMIs aren't hitting below those 50 marks. Sentiment is weak. And retail sales and things like that aren't as weak as expected. Now, is the reason because people are basically borrowing to continue to live, rather than being able to kind of say, you know what, I've got a job, the wages are good enough, I don't need to be dipping into any savings. But because it doesn't look good.
They've been given example after example from the governments, haven't they? At the end of the day.
Yeah, well, this is it. And you're talking about a Labour government which is spending like there's no tomorrow. It seems like people are trying to do the same just to keep their head above water.
Not a good recipe. Not a good recipe at all, I've got to say. How's pound doing? Oh, we hit a genuine TP1, guys. So you guys should be at TP1 if you followed that one as well.
Good job, mate.
Which is
good job.
Pretty cool.
We're finishing the show on a high note.
Yeah, now we've just got to get the Aussie up here somewhere. Pound yen, that's probably not doing too. Still in liquid. As I said, I've moved my stops. If you come in later, move my stops on pound yen to break even. No take profit, just at break even at the moment. Lost a little bit of confidence in this one, I've got to say. What else is there? Euro pound. I'm still looking
dollar. We need to talk about when you're ready.
Okay, we'll talk about the dollar in just. I just want to finish this one. I think Euro pound, which is now looking strong, which is fantastic for me because I'm looking to short it, right? And the closer we get to this level here, which is 85, 70 odd, the more I like it, and I will look to short Euro pound at this level. I'm trying to give
115, mate. 115. We got the monetary statement.
Yeah, the ECB. Yeah. Okay, so that's going to make a massive difference to this. And if we do get up to here and don't go beyond it, then yeah, I'll be looking for shorting at this level. That'll give you a head and shoulders there as well. That's not what I was looking to trade, but I like this. I do like this, but it will
forecast to go 0.25%. If they go 0.5, is the euro is going to fly.
Yeah. Okay. We shall see.
Which they could, I mean, but they probably aren't in a position to go 0.5. They're probably not in a position to go 0.25% either, but they've got to do something. So are they going to, try and get a bit more aggressive and front load it?
Anybody's guess, mate. We'll find out.
They're slow, aren't they? You think about sort of how many addresses we've had from the other major central banks, yen aside, BOJ aside, that have come out and raised and hiked and hiked and hiked, and these guys have just sat on their hands. And then now this tells you we haven't got a choice. We literally have not got a choice. We've got to raise. We don't want to. I don't know how the BOJ are managing. I really don't. I mean, they must be panicking, really, considering what's really going on over there. Their economy's not performing in the way that you'd expect it to with low interest rates. You'd be thinking everybody be buying loads from
You would
lots of
think
stuff
so, wouldn't you?
from Japan.
Yeah.
It's just not happening.
Is that right?
No, the
So
output levels are very, very low.
The
And
balance of
also wage
payments is not
inflation.
screaming.
No, the wage inflation is low as well. So the Bank of Japan are kind of like in a situation where inflation's just under the 2% mark, and they need to do something. They know they need to do something by the sounds of it, but they're not comfortable doing so because wage inflation is half of what CPIs are right now. And they have kept their inflation numbers artificially low by effectively funding the energy situation, and I guess borrowing to do so. So it's really a mess of an economy. Think about the Eurozone being a crackpot. The Japanese situation is also just very, very peculiar, very strange what's going on, really.
Mate, I reckon by the time we're ready to close the year, so when we're ready to go into our break at Christmas time, I've got a funny feeling that there'll be a lot of economies in complete turmoil, absolutely complete turmoil.
Yeah, which is the big argument. It's a big argument for the likes of gold, isn't it? Is that we flip back to gold and utilize it as a reserve currency for a while at least. And that could still happen. I mean, possibly, the Bitcoin story might still come back as well. And another tricky one. Bitcoin's another tricky one. Cryptocurrencies are also in a strange old place. But whether the things that you expect to happen do happen is often not the case. So yeah, what happens to these currencies by the end of the year? You'd expect them to be on their knees, but I guess I've made these kind of assumptions before about some of these areas, and they just manage to survive. The Eurozone, for one, it just manages to kind of cling on. They do some jiggery pokery, and they're off again.
Yeah, look, if I'll go a little bit further into the future. If this time next year the US dollar is above 100, or the dollar index, and if you want to talk about it, now's a good time. Then I'll be absolutely, no, I won't say I'll eat my socks, but I'll be very surprised. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
I've made statements like that before and had a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. So no. The BOJ still going brrr on JGB. No way they will raise. Looking that way, Tajul, yes.
No, well, this is the thing, though, isn't it, Tajul? I mean, no way they will raise is certainly the assumption from my perspective as well. But are they going to get put into a similar situation as the ECB are right now, where they have to do something because their currency is getting obliterated, and while their currency is getting obliterated, you'd expect there to be some decent trade going on between Japan and the rest of the world, but trade balances are atrocious. So it's what's going on over there is just isn't working.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense at all.
No,
at all.
No, it's the numbers are really very, very poor. I mean, the situation in China has not helped. Lockdown, not lockdown, lockdown, not lockdown. So you've got all these supply issues that are problematic, and obviously the conflict as well in Ukraine is causing its own issues. And maybe if the world was relatively sound at the minute, then Japan would be flying. But for whatever reason, it's not. It's just not doing very, very, very well at all. And yes, they do see the need to kind of continue to stimulate. But if stimulation's not working, if the stimulus isn't working, what do you do next? Do you sort of go, you know what? We're going to have to join the party.
Yeah, a bit like Angus. It'll get over.
Yeah, in saying that though, the inflation's nowhere near as much of a problem. But again, it's because they're artificially keeping it suppressed.
Funny things. We're in strange times. No question.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
Too much central bank intervention. That's what it comes down to.
Well, yeah, they've made their bed, and now they're really, really tossing and turning in that bed. They've really got a problem. Really got a problem. So in the US in particular, but everyone follows that anyway. So around the world, you're going to have issues.
We got a leadership contest going on over here right now with the Conservative Party, and it's come down to two: Rishi Sunak, the ex-chancellor, and Liz Truss, who was negotiating some of the trade deals. And Liz Truss's campaigns about lowering taxes and making Britain's economy boom again. And you just kind of watch these people and just think you either don't know what's going on, or you are just layering and lies of layers and layers of lies are happening. I'll tell you what, mate, that's interesting. What you're looking at, is that the pound?
That's the pound tanking, yeah.
Yeah, so the dollar is spiking again as we speak, going towards the 107 level. And along with it, gold is down. Actually, gold's holding not too badly. Silver's down again, so starting to see a spike in the dollar. Now, this is the big question really with the dollar. It's not a massive spike. Big question with the dollar though is that that 109 might well be seen again, quite possibly. Might see the 109 again, but there might well be one more blow off top before we start to weaken.
Do you want a sheet chart? Or you're okay on this one?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
no, that's absolutely fine. I mean, the resistance point is evident there, isn't it? And we are below those that pivot as well, the weekly pivot. So it's possible that the dollar does need to come down further. In this particular run, or does come down further in this particular run. But it might be the case that we get one more blow off top. It's got to be getting close to reversal. Got to be.
Well, we spoke about this on Monday and even last week, I think, about this level, because it was the last really resistance area before, well, goodness knows, here somewhere, 115 or something like that. And for the life of me, and I'm sure for the life of you, I cannot in my wildest dreams see it going there, for the underlying principle, which is they've got a massive problem. I mean, their debt is unbelievable. How they crawl their way out of that, I've got absolutely no idea. The whole world is now starting to think, well, why are we actually accepting payments for our goods in US dollars? When I say the whole world, Fiji are probably not thinking that way, but when you're talking Saudis, when you're talking Russia, you're talking China, you're talking India, they're not minor players in any way, shape or form. And if they actually do start to say, okay, all our goods are now available, but you're now going to pay us in our own currencies, where's the US dollar then?
Yeah.
See you later.
Well, big one, mate. Big one. Yeah. It's interesting because the situation right now for the dollar is that it's just less bad than anything else in some respects. Certainly less bad than the euro. But as you quite rightly say, there are other factors that could change the power of the dollar, and also this isn't good for the United States to have too strong a currency in comparison to everything else. It's not good for the United States because, of course, exports will then be affected.
We let oil slip. When were we talking about God, Lewis? I don't know.
Gold. I think he means gold.
Oh, okay. There is a difference. Tajul, if you can trade the dollar yen, can you please tell me and teach me how? And well done, well getting your TP done. I cannot trade that pair under any circumstances. I just cannot. Sorry, mate, I interrupted that.
No, you didn't, mate. No, I think that was really the point. It's just the point was it's less bad than many others. I mean, it was not less bad actually than the CAD or the Aussie as it goes, but certainly less bad than the euro and the yen. So this is where we find ourselves. But I just looking at that chart, it's very similar to gold, but the reverse of where we are at a ceiling. Yeah. Yeah, we're right on a ceiling here. What was a floor has now become a ceiling. So
actually, does it seem to doesn't seem to be as strong a level as gold, does it? I mean,
No,
gold's
not quite.
absolute line in the sand stuff.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
see this as that.
Yeah.
I
No, I
can't.
agree.
Gold has to react where it is right now. What it does, I don't know, but it has to react. And as you say, the most logical thing to do at that level would be to buy gold. And funnily enough, you and I aren't the only two people on the planet who see that level.
No, well, this is it. I mean, same. I suppose. Silver is in a similar situation. So you got the dollar at a significant area. You've got gold at a significant area. You've got silver at a significant area. The euro was a significant area as well when it was at parity. Now these things have seen some reaction. So that there has been buying, not necessarily with gold and silver, but the dollar did sell off a little bit. From 109 down to 106 is a relatively decent move. We've seen that the euro start to strengthen. We got the ECB out later. Will it strengthen further? Possibly. What's going to drive the dollar lower? Difficult to know. Central bank isn't out until the 27th, so it'd be a shocker to see it go through this level until before then. But it could happen. After the central bank come out, are they likely to say, right, we're going again at 1, or we're going at 0.75? But I tell you what, this will probably be the last time we'll be this aggressive. Probably. Then that might well start to see some of the dollar come out of the market. The Nasdaq has seen a decent rally. Tesla's numbers were pretty good. Netflix managed to beat some terrible expectations, what were already low expectations. So difficult in many respects, because things aren't quite correlating everywhere. Why you see the indices, the indexes rally like they are, and oil kind of coming down. There's some uncertainty. There's definitely some uncertainty. The FTSE's suffering even more now as we speak. So that is usually a pretty good indication of how the global economy is feeling, because it is so heavily linked to growth stocks. We're about to close up on the hour on gold, and that hourly bar has not ended up quite as positive, or is not currently as positive. It's very indecisive, spinning top. So we'll see what happens with that as well. But lots of questions, mate. No answers at this stage, and but lots of questions. Levels definitely there. Fundamentals, they're just not there right now.
I think as we started the show, it was all about uncertainty, and I don't think anything's changed in the last hour, certainly not on gold, to alleviate that situation. That was a daily wave rider trade, Jules. Okay, awesome. Nice to see the daily wave rider putting some money in your pockets. Good on you.
Which one was that?
That was Aussie, dollar yen.
Dollar yen, yeah. Well, do you know what? Gold would have been a great daily wave rider as well. The way you've pointed out how it's reacted to the
you would have thought so.
Yeah,
you would have thought so. Not that I know how that works too much, but I know if you're trend trading, you'd certainly be all over that. We should be all over that. I would have thought.
At least 4 entries.
I can imagine Chloe would be all over that.
Yeah, definitely. You would think Chloe would have been all over this, and PH as well.
Yeah, you would have thought so. And I'm getting there. Maybe me one day.
Well, I mean, I'm far from there, because of course I'm trading in the opposite direction. This is the most frustrating position I've held for a long time, and I've just got to, just waiting it out.
When's the what's it called, seasonal thing kick in?
Oh, it's already kicked in.
Not October, is it?
Yeah, no, for gold.
Mm.
The seasonal patterns on gold have already kicked in, and which is one of the reasons I was anticipating us to get a half decent move, at least some kind of relief. But it's just been relentless, absolutely relentless. What's going on with gold? I'll tell you when the seasonal thing ends, because it has already begun. So seasonally, gold, I can even show you the chart if you like.
I hope it's as technical going up as it has been coming down, because look at that,
Yeah, you'll like that, won't you?
That, oh my God, fathers. Yes, absolutely. It's gorgeous.
This is the seasonal on gold.
Or if it keeps coming down, then I hope it continues to do the same thing.
This is the start of July. I mean, I suppose, a little rally in July. Lewis said August, and I suppose that is the big one. This might fill you with a little bit more confidence, Jenny. Actually, if you can hold on to it through the next week or so, it looks like August. It manages to kind of find a decent period right the way up until about October. Should have started back in June, but now we've got August. It tends to rally there. Looking at silver, July tends to be pretty good for silver. Dip down actually in August, so the gold silver ratio does change a little bit, but then back to rallying sort of around about September time. So a few bits and pieces going on with gold and silver there. Copper as well tends to rally during July. That's not really been the case. Dip in August, so this is a suggestion that the global growth doesn't really happen during the summer months, and if you look at the indexes, that is reflected. Let's look at the Dow. July kind of flat, August kind of flat, September kind of flat, if not a little bit down. So we are in a seasonally weakish period for growth. Look at this: is the S&P. It's July, August, September. Not until October do we start to see some pickup. Until November, a rally into the end of the year. So lots of things against the growth story right now.
Okay, I think, as we started the week and we've gone into the week, we appear to be going between, it's a Miyagi market that I see anyway. We're going risk on, risk off, risk on, risk off. And today, it appears to be risk off.
Yeah, definitely so far, mate. Definitely so far.
So I don't think I can improve on what we've already spoken about. I don't think there's anything more to say, except that with the Aussie dollar order, and I'll give you both of these, with the Aussie dollar order, if it's, I better share the screen, otherwise I can't explain it too well. Okay, with the Aussie dollar order, because we are currently in a risk off situation, in my opinion, that could change tomorrow. Anything could happen, and it appears to me that we've been risk on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday not so much, and it looks like Thursday not so much. But this will be the key for me. If we can't get back below this confluence area, which is a very, very strong confluence area. I actually love this area because it's going to give us a trade of one kind or other. Currently, I've got an order long here, and if this doesn't come back below here, I think that's a good order. If it does, so back under here, back under the confluence area, in particular, if we get a retest, I will flip positions and look to trade this short through the lows, because that'll mean the dollar's going strong again and the risks coming off the table. So if that's the case, I will flip. But until I get a close below here, not necessarily on a daily chart, but a 4-hour chart, I will react accordingly or act accordingly. The other one that I gave you today was Dollar Swiss. Yes. Won't change a thing here because really what I'm playing is a double cross of the monthly pivot. So that's not even going to change if price gets up to here. If it does, I'll look for another order short, but this will be a very similar play to Aussie dollar long, right? If we get up here and look for a false break, then I may enter short again at this level rather than where I am, but I'm not going to cancel this order until we take out the high or take out that high. If we take out that high, I'll cancel the order, but until then I think this is perfectly valid and I will remain in that position. That's all. We've got the pound going in the right direction. That looks particularly strong today for our breakout trade, which worked perfectly. We've got pound yen, which will probably come and take out our stop loss, which is the break even. I'm perfectly fine with that. And everything else is a-okay. Nothing else to do. So I'm happy to wrap it up there, mate.
Grand, me too, mate. Well, have an amazing break. Well deserved. I hope you guys in the room. What's that, buddy?
I said I'll do my best.
Yeah, you do well. You do well. I'm away actually out the country on Saturday for a proper holiday. So
where are you off, mate?
Off to Crete in Greece.
Nice.
And it should be. I mean, we're in the kind of north part of the island, which is supposedly very, very picturesque. But we'll see.
Ouzo on ice, yum, on the beach.
Oh yeah. So yeah, proper break for me. I'm gonna take a genuine holiday this time. It's not just
good man.
Sit at home and do some work. I won't be taking anything with me. So so markets will be out for me, and we will be back. What day are we back?
The 8th, Monday the 8th.
Monday the 8th. All right. So we will see you guys. Oh, the heat in Brighton is beautiful, actually, Lewis. I mean, we're lucky in Brighton that we've got the sea, because we get a bit of the breeze. And
they're melting in London, aren't they?
Oh, it's crazy, mate. Absolutely crazy. You know, where the UK used to be a cold country, it's definitely not anymore. I mean, 40 degrees centigrade is hot. You know, it's a bit crazy.
Wouldn't mind selling air conditioners over there at the moment, eh?
No, well, yeah, and many places don't have them because we're not really prepared for the heat.
Yeah, like it's not that climate, is it?
No. Hotter than Sing, yeah. I mean, hotter than many parts of the world right now. It really is just astonishing, you know, really what's going on really right now. But Brighton's amazing.
You won't have humidity though, will you? Like Singapore.
It's no. The humidity. I mean, there's some, but it's nowhere near as tight as it is in Singapore. And the sea makes a big difference, you know, being so close to it. But I've managed to swim in it every day. Interestingly. I've been in the sea for a swim, and as a swimmer, I think the temperature is quite nice. But if you were just messing about in the sea, it's still actually a little bit cold, I think, for people. It's like 18 degrees, which is I think under the 20
bracing.
threshold.
Yep. You can turn a male into a female very quickly in that temperature.
Yeah. But I quite, for swimming, it's quite nice because you're fresh and makes I don't like it too warm when I swim in the sea anyway. But yeah, so that's nice. But Crete is going to be a bit warmer than that, and we'll have a nice relax. So you guys have a good relax as well. Keep at it, keep working hard. And if some of you are in some gold trades, then the key thing is just not to over leverage yourself and not to panic. You know, this thing should come. All the markets should do eventually what they tend to do. But you won't give yourself any sort of chance if you over leverage and panic. So stay safe and trade sensibly and trade professionally. And Jeff and I will return in a couple of weeks to see how everybody's getting on. Have a great break,
those of you. Yeah, thanks, mate. Those of you in the Telegram group, I will continue to put my daily trades in there, and I'll update that in need because we won't be in Trading Buddies. I'll probably be a little bit more active in there than normal. If you want to get into that Telegram group, I can't help you. I've got no idea how you do that. Maybe you just go contact Actions to Wealth and they'll help you out if you want to get into that Telegram group. But it will be a little bit more active probably over the break. Mate, have a wonderful time in Great Cagliari and enjoy the Ouzo on ice.
Thanks, buddy.
Have a great break. Thank you, Paul, on YouTube. Thank you guys for being our trading buddies for the first half of the year. We'll be back for the second on August 8th. Have a wonderful time. Bye-bye for now. Thanks, Marlon.